Okay. Let's see. I'm having to do this through OBS now. So, um, give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So it looks like it's working. I can't. I was just. I think maybe I'm having some kind of issue with Restream. I don't know what. I don't know what happened, but we're back. Give me 1 second, you guys, because I'm gonna get. I want to be able to get to where I can still show your comments. So I know if I do this, yeah, and grab this overlay link. Here we go. This takes just a second. Um, it's been a minute since I've tried to use this one. No, that's not it. So I got to make sure I have it set up correctly. Otherwise, I can't get your guys' questions on here. So, okay. Well, there's that. I may not be able to do it today just because it um just the technical difficulties. So, but I am back, and I'm if you guys want to put your comments back in this chat, we can chat about them. We'll just go for a little bit longer here, but kind of just picking up where we left off, like uh you know, I was seeing a lot of the talk about the communication from Nintendo. And um oh, now Restream is working again, but I'm just going to shut that studio down so it doesn't cause us any issues. But yeah, just out of nowhere, just decided to work. So we're on its time. You know, when it wants to work, it will. Lovely for us as we're trying to. The podcast is trashed. I don't even know if that. I don't know how I'll be able to get it all back. So oh well, it won't be going out in audio form, but not a huge deal. But yeah, so I'm back. We'll keep this conversation going for a bit longer here, and just the communication overall. Like like if Nintendo had done a better job communicating, and then you know the when you look back at like the Iwata era and the Reggie era, I don't. It's one of those situations where I don't know that we realized how good we had it with 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 those guys. You know, the sad thing is that like a lot of times that era is overshadowed by the Wii U, but the Wii was a massive success. And then the Wii U happened. Wasn't so great. We have to remember the DS was still going very strong, and the 3DS still did very well. And I think the best way for me to put it is like I foresee the Switch to the Switch 2 going very much like the DS to the 3DS. That's what I think we're good. I think it's going to be more like that. I think when it comes to sales numbers, it's going to be similar. I would love to be proved wrong on this, by the way. But this would also historically follow how things have gone for Nintendo um over the years. And from a successful console to less successful, in some cases less successful, that kind of stuff. And did the stream crash again? I see no dropped frames. Is everything good? I'm wondering if I'm just having internet issues. We're good? Okay. On my end, the stream, like on my end, watching the preview on YouTube, it it just shows the my video just disappeared. It just disappeared. So I'm gonna hit the live button. Okay, looks like I'm back. So I was like, oh, what? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're having. There could be internet issues. There's a. you guys know how it is. There's a million different things, but um I didn't want to just leave this just and I'm so bummed. It was such a fun conversation too that we were having. To try to pick it back up is a little bit tricky, but I think at the end of the day, like if you're excited for this, be excited. Like just talk about it, share it all over the place, whatever. Like just do you. Like I feel like sometimes we we live in a bit of a world where it's like the um the majority or the majority opinion sometimes silences those that don't share that opinion. Just share what you like. Like be stoked about what you're stoked about. If you're frustrated, talk about it. If you're happy about it, talk about it. Have fun with it. You know, we're at the end of the day, we're talking about video games. We're talking about a goofy plumber riding around on a cart, and we just have to keep in mind that it's still business. It's still business at the end of the day. It is very much a business. So it's not gonna it's not always gonna go exactly how we'd hoped. And the same goes for them on the business side of things. Things aren't always gonna go the way they hoped. You know, do you think they love seeing drop the price and seeing everybody upset and like uh the all of the replies to their tweets is drop the price and all that kind of stuff? They can't love that. That's got to be frustrating for them. They want like word of mouth for this kind of thing is so important. But I feel like word of mouth for the Switch 2 goes, this thing's crazy, but it's $450, right? And again, I don't think that's priced badly for what it can do, but I don't like there's going to be some people that are like I just want to play Mario and Mario Kart. I don't care how strong it is, you know. So there's there's that too where it's just like there's plenty of casuals out there that are like what's 4K 120 mean? You know, there's guarantee you there's people out there that have no clue, especially Nintendo people, right? If they've been playing the Switch for so long. So like Nintendo decides to cater to the hardcore, and then the hardcore is like, lower the price. So they're just like, what? What? And I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's as much about the price of the hardware as it is the software. I think that's where it's getting hard for people to the hard pill to swallow. Rico Lee says it's frustrating. Switch 2 is so divisive because Switch 2 is basically the perfect hardware and game wise, but communication's so bad people don't see or have complete faith in it at all. And it sucks. Yeah, because if you're an early adopter, you're like, okay, I'm going to throw a lot of money at this. And then if it drops in price because there's not that many early adopters, well, you know, you might end up with a couple free games or some coupons or something, but like it's stuff to weigh out. Steel Sand Gaming, what's going on, buddy? Says I'm excited. Zelda, Mario, Animal Crossing are all worth it in the end. I might cut back on the number of games. I have like 80 plus Switch games. Yeah. Well, and I talked about this on I think it was on the Nintendo Topic podcast too. Like we at the beginning of Switch 1, we were all taking advantage of like Best Buy selling games at $50. Amazon selling games at $50. A lot of these companies would price match. So you could always get games for $50. That's what helped me buy so many Switch games in the early days. They were $50. Like it was like that's why I collected every physical retail release for the first year, because it was like somewhat affordable. But like now one game is the price of what two games were back when Switch 1 was coming out. So Cryptic says, yeah, it's such a bummer. And what sucks is that people's content about Switch 2 experience is really positive and everyone is having fun. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and that's it. It gets the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing when it comes to content creation, it's a lot easier to get people on board with you if you just hate everything. So if you hate on stuff, it's easy for people to be like, yeah, drop the price. Like, 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 screw Nintendo. And it's like, I mean, it's low hanging fruit. I guess you want to get that check and just hate on stuff. But then you see people that like will will say this stuff. They'll be picking up a Switch day one, a Switch 2 day one. And so that's also it's just it's frustrating to watch because like it's just thumbnail after thumbnail of why Switch 2 sucks. And it's really impressive. Like it's very impressive. And I can't wait to get my hands on it and play some of these games. And I mean, I'm like, I hate the fact I'm gonna try to work on a video tomorrow. No one's talking about Daemon X Machina 2. Um, like that that game looks so sick. Like it does look like a modern like a modern mech shooter. I don't think I've heard a single person mention that game. And it looks incredible. Like it looks so good. Makes me a bit sad. Taking a look here, Cryptic says, my biggest want was getting Madden and COD back on Switch, and we are getting both. They did everything right. There you go. Love that. Love that. Rick Lee says, this controversy is pointless drama. Sucks for everyone. And I really hope people playing it in person gets people to see what Switch 2 actually is on its own merits instead of everyone else's. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Gaming Lover 13 says the price of games now is almost the price of 2, which really sucks. But unfortunately, with the gaming world, we know that this can happen. Yeah, absolutely. Also, Switch 2 is the system we want, and the price bump is understandable. Xbox One to Xbox X was $200 increase. It's not just Nintendo, and that's I think the same is true with the PlayStation, that kind of stuff. It's like you just this they do go up. The Switch has just been a lesser system, so it was easier to keep the price lower. Not that it didn't have. I mean, I'm loving Xenoblade Chronicles. I just finished it. Now I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I'm loving that. And super content just with the way it looks. I do think I may have seen a little bit of hiccups in X, but I was also running it through OBS, so I don't know if it was just something happened on my end and not in the game itself. So Cryptic says, I feel indies will see a big boom. Not everyone is a fan of AAA titles right now. Very true. Let's see. Rico Lee says prices are annoying and pretty expensive and unnecessarily high, especially game-wise. But we've established that and called that out weeks ago. Just talk about anything, literally anything else, please. Yes. It's time to just like be excited. Like be excited. I haven't spent a ton of time talking about the pricing because I've kind of wanted to digest it a bit and kind of understand it. And so that's why I'm a little bit behind the curve. Also, like, I mean, it's a little scary out there, the way people go so crazy and you're a shill and you're a bootlicker and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I just want to have like the amount of fun I'm going to have for Mario Kart. I'm sorry. I would have paid $100 for it. Am I the problem? Sure. But like, it's Mario Kart. Like, I've been playing this game for 30 plus years. I love it. Like, I love it. Cryptic says, when do you think Xbox will announce titles coming to Switch 2? Probably in June. I would say June. Don't they have a conference or a presentation in June? That's when I imagine we'll see it. So, and who knows? The Oblivion remake that's getting announced tomorrow. I know they didn't show the Switch 2 stuff, but they could still tease it tomorrow potentially. But it may be a little ways out if they don't have the dev kits and stuff. I'm not quite sure on that. So, Yeah, Steel says I wonder about Xbox games as well. Yeah. Yep. Double says my favorite franchises are definitely worth much more than 60 or 70 to me. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there would have been less conversations and less like less rage if Mario Kart had come in at 70, right? Because I think everybody's like, hey, that was the pricing of new software. I personally, I said this on stream, I've said this a number of times, probably gonna be the last time I say it, but I wish Nintendo had lowered the price of Switch 1 games by $20 and then even done like a new voucher system, like buy 3 for $100 voucher, right? Something along those lines. And then when they add the $20 price tag, it puts them back at 60 for Switch 2 owners. And I feel like there were potential conflicts with pricing when they're like, well, we're gonna price Kirby at 80, but Mario Kart's not gonna be 80, you know? So like that I think is where um I understand it's a business. They want to make all their money. But you get to a point where it's like you lower the prices on the software that's been out for 8 years, you're going to start moving more of it. You're going to have people that have yet to pick up some of these titles, maybe pull the trigger for the first time, but you're keeping everything at that premium price. I don't know, like, if I were to ask you guys right now, if everything Nintendo released up until the last 2 years was dropped down to $40, how many of you would pick up titles that you had yet to pick up, even with the Switch 2 coming out? Like, you know, maybe some of you guys haven't tried Luigi's Mansion 3 yet. Maybe, you know, maybe the first Daemon X Machina, right? Maybe the older Xenoblade titles, like Metroid Dread could totally be a fantastic $40 game. A fantastic $40 game. And Rico Lee said it. We need Nintendo Selects. Yes. Yeah. Player's choice, Nintendo Selects, especially now. Switch 1 has no reason to not have actual discounts. It's 8 years old. Give us at least some leeway here. And that's Astral Chain. Exactly. Even if they were digital, right? Even if their Nintendo Selects were digital, not that I want to just push strictly digital, but they can still do it, like, because the other thing is they, like, how does it work in retail anymore? Things are a bit different than they've used to be in the past. It's not like they have these massive sections, but still Switch 2 is going to launch and it's going to need this much space. Imagine if all the first party Nintendo Select titles are there at $40. Who's not picking that up? And in most cases, they've made all their money back. It's just the $40 is probably pure profit at this point, outside of whatever the retailers are taking. So I want to get to a few more of these chats here. Rico Lee says, people have the right to be annoyed about prices, but it doesn't make it healthy or productive to dwell on it and rain on everyone else's parade over it. I'm not. I just hope people will chill out. Of course. Yeah. Spooky Giggle says people will always find something to be mad at. It's a game that carries nostalgia for a lot of us. And if you don't like them, just don't buy it, you know. And I totally hear you. I totally hear you. It's because I can guarantee you 100%, there are people that were never planning on picking up a Switch 2, never planning on picking up Mario Kart, that are angry because of, like, what the $80 price tag will mean for opening the door to other other studios, but they were never going to pick up Mario Kart regardless. It's the people that are looking at the price tag of everything. But again, if you're going to pull the trigger on 450 for the console, spend $50 more and get the game. That's like technically cheaper than Deluxe has ever been, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was only discounted 60 technically, right? And this, so like the fact that I'm sorry, I did my math backwards. It's still getting $30 off something brand new is kind of crazy for Nintendo. So Joey with the super chat says, bring Diddy Kong to Mario Kart World. It'll happen. Don't you worry. It'll be one of the first updates, I bet. One of the first updates. Joey Pitt says, a new ticket voucher, pay 100, pick Switch 2 games and get a free Switch 1 game. My thought is pay 100 and get 3 Switch 1 games. That seems to me that they would move software. Cryptic says, I have my mom, sister, and really got into AC during COVID. Trying to get them into an $80 title, most likely again, is a hard sell when the voucher system allowed 2 copies. Yeah, for sure. Like, this may be the generation where we start seeing more sales from Nintendo, like that they don't have a choice in the matter. And that's where things get like, for me, where I'm just like, you guys had the playbook with the last system. And I still don't think there's like a perfect answer. There's not black and white. We all wanted, I would say the majority of Switch gamers, at least the hardcore, definitely wanted something that was like, that could handle the third party games, right? And to have something that is like this is something to behold. Like, look at what we're getting here. And granted, it's not a PS5 Pro. Like, there's no question there. But it's still looking pretty, like, Mario Kart looks gorgeous. Like, it looks really good. I'm super stoked for it. But at the same time, the amount of times I see kids in restaurants with Switch lights that are, loving life playing Minecraft or playing Fortnite or playing some Mario games, like, in some cases, they're just like, it's going to be a lot longer until I get a Switch 2 because of the price hike. So did Nintendo make the right choice, making us this powerhouse system versus giving us something that was just a little bit more powerful, but then the third parties aren't going to waste their time, just like they fell off with Switch 1. And so these conversations were not like, this kind of stuff didn't come to these conclusions easily. If they could try to take the route that, like, hey, we're going to do, like, you're going to get up to, Xbox One and well, that's still PS4. So I don't, like, you're going to get a little more powerful of a system with the Switch 2. Not like what we're looking at now, but first party Nintendo games are still going to run great. But we don't know the labor, not to mention how, like, they've been nonstop with Switch for the last 8 years, nonstop. With the Wii U, there was a big lull. And granted, there was still games being made on 3DS, but they had time to start preparing for the first 2 years of Switch 1 that they absolutely knocked out of the park. It's been game after game after game, and we've had a little bit, like, you could see there was a little bit of a lull the last 2 years where they were kind of preparing for this. But But if they had a similar launch schedule to Switch 1 and the console was just a little bit more powerful, would that have been a better route for them to go? I don't think I would be as excited if if we weren't getting the Switch 2 that we were getting. But at the same time, and I think we could probably pinpoint the problem down to one thing: Mario Kart being $80. I think if it was 70, I don't think anybody. I think everybody would have been like, "We expected that." It's the not meeting the expectation or going that extra that like gamers are going nuts over 10 extra dollars. Like they're going crazy. So, um let's see. Rico says, I think all Switch 2 editions should be free for NSO expansion pack members like Breath and Tears are. That would help clear a lot of confusion and be a lot fairer to OG Switch fans. I do agree with that. I would say that would make perfect sense. Maybe they need to adjust, um, add a third tier, maybe, um, to accommodate some of that cost. Kirby's the one that just I'm like, is there enough DLC here to justify this? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Joey says, but what if Nintendo is planning on DLC, included with the expansion pass NSO for Mario Kart? That would make it worth 80. Or what if they're going to support the game with free DLC for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? But if they're planning that kind of stuff, why aren't they telling anybody? That information would have made everybody go, "Oh, it makes sense," right? And I mean like support, not like I think Nate said it in chat during the stream, like not like Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, like here's an extra character, but like no, here's a new Grand Prix. And I foresee like I don't know because I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they do it for free. I hope they do for at least a handful of these, but like Mario Kart World is like a celebration of Mario Kart and the Mushroom Kingdom. And you can tell that based on all the characters, all the costumes, the cow, the penguin, the bonefish, all this kind of stuff. Super weird, super Nintendo. I love it. And then what is it? Are we gonna see Samus like, a Samus Grand Prix where you can race as a Metroid? Like potentially yes. I would say potentially yes. And then, a Kirby land where you can race as Kirby and race as Meta Knight and race as King Dedede and race as Waddle Dee and what other like enemies are they going to pull in where it's, that's a celebration of Kirby and there's like 20 different characters added from that game. Like how are they gonna tackle this stuff going forward? Not to mention different costumes and like are like they gonna do a Mario variant of Kirby where he's got Mario's hat and a Peach variant, just like he does in Smash, and everybody wonders what the Kirby variant's gonna look like. I don't know. He eats a burger and he looks like Mario. He eats a burger, he looks like Peach. Like there's a lot they can do there. So and it would mean a lot to unlock. Um Cryptic says, also, I think there is something to say about their movie push, theme park push. Maybe over time they can make additional money there to lower the cost of the games. I I think like, and again, prices could go up with the tariffs, right? Like we all know that. Like after the like 90 days, if stuff doesn't kind of get worked out, we're already seeing it with accessories. So we could be having different conversations 90 days from now, 3 months from now, about where the prices are at, and things could be crazy. I think part of where people's frustration is at is like, okay, if this was tariff pricing, then maybe it's going to come back down. But like, let's watch. Let's watch the Pro controller. Is it going to drop that $5 that it was initially after if the tariff stuff goes away? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I've also seen people saying that like, the pricing of the Switch being higher than it was, and then saying, oh, they're not going to raise it so they look good. Also, maybe a corporate move. That's something I've seen as well. So it's again, there's a lot of unknowns because there's not a lot of communication there. And how much does a business have to communicate outside of here's the product, buy this? Like we're all very invested in ways that like I don't know, do other communities get this invested? Like are is like the fishing community this invested in like the new pole that's coming out? You know, like how are tariffs affecting these prices? Like I have no idea. Like like are golfers like, yo, my golf balls are gonna be going up because of this? Like I'm not sure that is the case. Um and Doug T said it. Prices only go down if fans refuse to buy it. That's it. Cryptic says I think Nintendo knows they have to find other ways of revenue. Yeah, always. I mean, Nintendo's done so many. They've done noodles, they've done toys, they've done adult hotel, like by the hour hotels. Like you know, they've had their hands in all kinds of things, trying to keep the business afloat and do their thing. So um, they're no strangers to looking for other revenue streams. They just have IP like never before. So um, Sunshine says, well, I just got off the phone with somebody screaming at me about the cost of her stay. And I do think a lot of it is tied to tariffs and stock market. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Noodles, Nintendo out there selling ramen. Yeah. Like I think in the 60s, maybe. I think that was around the 60s. They were also, they like love motels was their thing. Kids toys, a lot of the toys that you see in Animal Crossing, like the Ultra Hand, um we saw them at the museum when Miyamoto was showing us like I can't remember it off the top of my hand. The Ultra Machine, or no, it was Ultra Hand. The basically the pitching machine where you hit it with the bat. That's all Nintendo's history, you know. So um and different ways they were trying to make money. I mean, they started as a Hanafuda card company selling playing cards. So um Steele says let me see. I want to make sure I catch everybody. Um okay, Joey said then again it's worth it for me, and if they add DK Island or DLC, I'll pay another 80 for that. I'm part of the problem. I love it. Steele says, I think they'll be forced to do rare Nintendo sales. Honestly, that could be the case. That could be the case. And they still have the opportunity to like, do the Nintendo Select thing and that kind of stuff. Like it's still on the table. They're just, they're going to test the waters for a bit. Wrigley says the price for Switch 2 itself makes sense, but 80 for big new games just doesn't, because Nintendo's variable pricing thing doesn't work. Nintendo's never actually truly done that for Switch. They haven't, but the initial pricing sheet that we saw, Donkey Kong's $10 less than Mario Kart. Bravely Default Remake is $40. Now, granted, it's not on the cart. It's just a key. You have to download it, but you can still trade that with friends and trade it in at GameStop if that's something you wanted to do. So they do seem like they are sticking to it. Maybe 80 isn't the norm. Kirby might be the exception. Mario Kart might be the exception. I could see the new Mario 3D Mario coming in at 80, but like I don't know if like a Fire Emblem game would come in at 80. Maybe Smash Bros. Absolutely. They might be looking to like we were talking about Donkey Kong, like why isn't it 80? Well, it's a single player experience. Maybe you get 20 to 50 hours out of it, right? But like Mario Kart, we're talking hundreds of hours that people can get out of it. So, and also the dev costs are going to be significantly different as well. There's a lot of factors. There's so many different factors. It's not just a black and white thing. So, let me see here. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Steele says, no doubt. How about the Amiibo outrage? I'm buying them, but they are spendy. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy how expensive they've gotten. Like it's out of control. I'm like, can they please just stop? I'm tired of collecting these things. Like and now they're like, the Street Fighter ones are like, it's gonna be $90 to get all three of those. And then not to mention all of the champions. Like, I, do I get a Switch Lite, or do I buy 5 amiibo? I don't know. That's kind of where we're at with this. So, um, continuing on down. Sunshine says people are freaking out in all areas, not just Switch 2. For sure, especially when it comes to tariffs. I was more referring to like just how do communities react if there's like a big price increase outside of tariffs, to their products. Like, do we see all of the outrage that we see everywhere else when we see when it comes to gaming, you know, like and people really, I guess if it's like golf balls, like I said, golfers usually pretty well off. If you're out golfing, you're probably doing all right, so you probably don't think too much about it. So um Rico Lisa's variable pricing only seems to be for charging more rather than charging um in scope of games, but it's not. Nintendo needs to clarify that because it doesn't seem to be helping us much at all. And again, they need to, I feel like their messaging was just, I think they showed up thinking we've got the perfect direct. Everybody's going to be so stoked. And I don't know about you guys, but when I started seeing the Switch 1 games just getting up-resed, I was like, I don't want to see this right now. I want to see what's new. I want to know what is new coming out. Like this up-res stuff is not that exciting. Like, it's cool. I'm here for it. Great. Gonna be free. I can jump back into Tears or Breath of the Wild, but like it's it's still not what I want to see when we're showing off like those games have sold what 20 million copies, 10 million copies, whatever, the 40 to 20 million copies. Like that's I want to see new stuff. I want to see what's new here. Like, it's cool that it can do that, but like and then to find out Kirby's 80 was just like oof. It was a little bit of sticker shock there. So um Curtis says, with the Switch 2 launching in June, do you think the direct showcases are going to be shifted a bit? Like, do we still get a September, February direct? Do we get a June direct shortly after launch? I'm thinking Nintendo's probably going to change it up a little bit and do like July or August, so that they can start promoting the year of. I think there's going to be a whole year for Mario's 40th. That's my gut feeling. So probably like the if we don't see anything July or August, September is a guaranteed, because the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers is like September 13th, I believe. So I would say that will be a guarantee. Um, let's see. So Sunshine said, I had no clue that's how people got the skins in. Oh, with the food. Yes. Yes. What will Smash Bros be? Joey says 90. Please no. No. Um Joey says Donkey Kong Bonanza people will get only 20-ish hours out of it. I'm gonna be lost in the game for days. I hope it's a bit longer, honestly. I do. I really do. So oh, the in Mario Kart 8. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. If you scan different amiibo, you get those different skins. Yes. Okay. I was like trying to put it together because I'm bouncing around a little bit. My bad. My bad. Kubrick says, I still find it odd that there's no true game at launch that utilizes mouse mode. Dragon Drive seems fun for a while, but we don't know when Metroid releases. Yeah, a little bit strange there too. Well, there is a game that uses it, and I think actually it was probably. I think it's going to change a lot of people's minds when they jump in and try it. But the welcome welcome what's it called, you guys got it in chat probably, the $10 uh what are people referring to it as, a tech demo, the $10 tech demo. I think there's actually really fun mouse games in that welcome tour. Yeah. Yeah. So um Rico Lee says, right, Switch 1 upgrades are great, but that should have been on Nintendo today, not the big Switch 2 direct for the new system. Switch 2 should be showing mostly brand new stuff, especially right now. Yeah. And that's what I was like. I was like, oh, come on. Like, this is like, it's cool, but like, it's not a selling point, really. I don't know. I don't know how to look at it exactly. So, um, figure drawing says, according, hopefully I can read all this. According to the internet, a baby angel dies every time you grind a rail in Mario Kart World. I guess it's punishment for the true sin of playing Greed Tendo games. Oh my god. Save an angel, skip Mario Kart World. That's the word on the street. So, well guys, thank you so much for jumping in with this. This ended up going way longer than I thought it would. So, you guys are seriously the best, really. I will put this out in audio form on the podcast if you guys want to go back and check it out later, or if you got here late or whatever, check out the whole episode. Of course, it'll be here on YouTube as well. Appreciate all you guys so much jumping in. I do want to start doing these a little bit more on the regular because I just think it's a lot of fun. And so stay tuned for that. I don't quite have the schedule for it, but I'm hoping soon because I'm loving this just chatting with you guys on the regular. So thanks again for hanging out, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.